The White House says President Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID-19. We've just received these pictures showing him cutting short his trip to Las Vegas and getting on board a plane, which will take him to Delaware, where he will recuperate. His press secretary said Mr. Biden is vaccinated and boosted. He has had COVID twice before. His illness means he has had to cancel several planned appearances in Las Vegas. Our correspondent, Tom Bateman, has been traveling with President Biden's campaign. Here's what he told us.
Well, we're now rolling again in the motorcade. We were holding outside the restaurant for over an hour and a half after the President made that short visit and then recorded an interview inside while we were in the vans, and it was becoming increasingly clear that there was a delay. And the last time I just went to check with staff in one of the other vans, I was told to get back in our van, and the motorcade is now moving again, but we haven't been told where we're going.
President Biden was due to give a speech to a Hispanic advocacy organization in Nevada. That's been canceled. Here's the president announcing the news to its members.
I was just on the phone with President Biden, and he shared his deep disappointment at not being able to join us this afternoon. The president has been at many events, as we all know, and he just tested positive for COVID.
That was the president of the Hispanic Advocacy Organization. Now, our North America correspondent, David Willis, is in Washington. He joins us now for more on this story. David, this latest development, it certainly won't help President Biden's push to reassure the voters that he has the energy and vitality to run for the next 4 years.
It won't help at all, Steve. There's no question about that. This couldn't really have come at a worse time for the Biden campaign. And there's a statement being released from the president's doctor, and I'll read a bit of it to you. It says the president presented this afternoon with upper respiratory symptoms to include a runny nose and a non-productive cough, and with general malaise. He felt okay for the first event of the day, but given that he was not feeling better, point-of-care testing for COVID was conducted, and the results were positive for the virus. In response to that, the president will be self-isolating and has returned now to his home in Delaware, very abruptly cutting short that campaign visit to Las Vegas in Nevada. But this, of course, comes, as you say, Steve, just after the president's health and general well-being and cognitive abilities had been under the microscope following that disastrous performance, of course, in the last month's presidential debate, when he was seen to be slurring his words and losing his train of thought. The president, in various interviews since then, has been insisting that he is okay, that he's had cognitive tests conducted fairly recently, the most recent back in March, and he said in an interview with BET Network that he would withdraw from the race if there was a serious medical issue. Otherwise, he has maintained that he is staying in this race for re-election to the White House. All this at a time when nearly 24 Democratic congressmen and women have joined calls for President Biden to pull out of the race. They believe that he could actually harm their chances going into November's presidential election. The most high profile of those being the California Congressman Adam Schiff, who today came out and called for Joe Biden to pull out, saying that he believed that he had serious doubts about whether Joe Biden could now defeat Donald Trump. And he said the time was, as he put it, had now come to pass the torch to someone younger, Steve.
Yeah, the pressure is mounting on President Biden. He's going to be isolating in Delaware, as we understand. How hard will it be for him to carry on campaigning from there, if indeed he can, and even if he recovers quickly?
Well, as far as the day-to-day matters of running the country are concerned, he can do that quite well from Delaware. The problem is that this reduces his visibility on the campaign trail at a time when all the attention is on his rival Donald Trump, following that assassination attempt, of course, on Saturday, and now the ongoing Republican National Convention, which Donald Trump is due to address, of course, tomorrow night. It's been a struggle for Joe Biden to get the narrative back on track, not least because of the concerns of those in his party about his mental acuity and general fitness, but also because so much of the attention has been drawn to Donald Trump, who Mr. Biden continues to insist represents a threat to democracy. But it's a message that he has really been struggling over the course of the last few weeks to get home to the public, simply because it's been eclipsed by concerns from those in his own party about whether he should stay in the race, Steve.
Yeah, we'll have to watch this space. Thanks very much, David, for that context. David Willis speaking to us from Washington.